You'll have to forgive me, Lutoons viewers. Chad is in a bit of a pickle at the moment.
Oh, hi.
Yes, Lutoons viewers, it is I, prolific YouTube kidnapper Gordon Skellingbones, and I've taken your beer-drinking host hostage.
You'll never get away with this.
What? Why do you care? I thought you hated that guy.
I've grown fond of him.
Well, it's inconsequential, because there's nothing you can do to save him or anybody else out there.
Oh, yeah?
Who are you?
I am the Toon Slinger. And your number's up, Skellingbones.
Great work, Toonslinger. Now would you mind untying Chad so we can proceed with the countdown?
Ah, countdown. So, which countdown did you have planned for today?
The top 10 animated superhero shows.
Haha, perfect. Well, you know what? I kind of like it here. Plus, I found a fridge full of beer over there, so I'll let the voiceover guy do his thing, but I think I'll take over for all those funny on-camera cutaways that the other guy usually sucks at. So, let's get started.
So, a few things before we begin. For this list, I decided to include only shows based on comics, which means, sadly, no Darkwing Duck or Freakazoid. I plan to make a whole separate list for shows like those. Also, I don't consider Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles superheroes. That's fine if you do, but I've just never seen them that way. I've always sort of thought of them as more of an action team, you know, like Street Sharks or Mummies Alive. So I know people probably won't be too happy about that, but for my list, I've chosen to leave them off. And lastly, just 2 honorable mentions, and they go to Justice League Unlimited and Ultimate Spider-Man. And I'm going to give a sort of unofficial 11th spot to Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I really enjoyed the fun, colorful spirit of this show, and its outstanding use of Wasp and Ant-Man, especially when compared to its replacement show, which seriously suffered from its heavy reliance on the success of the Avengers film. Now, I know when it comes to superhero stuff, people are pretty dang passionate, so I just want to ask everybody to remember that this list is ultimately built upon my own opinions, and I'm sure in a lot of cases yours will differ from mine. So, with that, let's get to my pick for the number 10 spot.
Green Lantern of Sector 2814. Report immediately to OA. Priority 1.
The truth is, when it comes to television, barring reboot of course, I just do not like these 3D animated styles. It's a personal preference. Sure, Clone Wars was great, but I would have probably liked it a lot more if it just stuck with its original style. And there have been other shows to implement this, which I haven't been very thrilled with. Green Lantern, the animated series, however, is kind of the perfect property for this style. The 3D works amazingly for all of the ring creations, and helps make them feel a bit more realized, like there's some weight to them. The show itself is nothing amazing, and the words 3D and Green Lantern are enough to give most of us nightmares.
I know, right?
But I would have to say that this is my personal favorite animated portrayal of Green Lantern to date. Unfortunately, you don't sell toys, you don't get to keep airing, much like something else that was airing in 2011 alongside Green Lantern.
Just once I want an assignment in some nice sunny suburb.
The 1990 Spiderman series is one of those shows that you look back on and just kind of laugh. It feels seriously dated and has some of the most tacky 90s humor that you can find.
What's the matter? Get wrapped up watching cartoons this morning?
Hey, what's wrong with watching cartoons? All of that aside, I really love this show. I suppose I should mention that growing up, I didn't really read comic books. Well, that's not true. There were exactly 3 comic book series that I read like a maniac. The Tick, The Simpsons, and something called Scud, which I still maintain would make one of the coolest animated shows ever. Point is, I never read any Marvel or DC comic books, so these shows are kind of like the source material for me, and Spider-Man in particular. It was a colorful, action-packed adventure, and I've always been partial to Spidey's bad guys, a bit more flamboyant and out there than other rogues galleries. And Spider-Man himself, being one of my favorite superheroes, is hilarious in this, never missing an opportunity for a quick-witted insult in the heat of battle. 90s cheese and all, of course.
I'm on an acid-free diet.
And it's got a pretty catchy theme song too. Although, I never did understand the part about the blog after the guitar solo. I mean, they clearly say Spider-Man earlier in the song, but I don't know, maybe they're just trying to support Spider-Man's blog?
And if we don't find a kinder, gentler way to shut them down, there's gonna be a few less friends of humanity around, stinking up the planet.
Where are you, Professor?
We already know I love the theme song. We already know I detest Jubilee. But beyond that, X-Men was a really interesting show, dealing with things like mutant rights and time travel. Clearly, it had a bit of a harder edge when compared to Spider-Man. And it was this show that spawned my obsession with team cartoons, and I could not get enough of the X-Men arcade game. Even though it didn't have Beast as a playable character, who through this show quickly became my favorite member of the X-Men, and whom we have yet to see done properly in film.
Tangent unlocked.
Kelsey Grammer was pitch perfect for the parts where Hank is in a suit and dealing with politics, but the combat bits with Kelsey Grammer make me want to fall asleep and never wake up. As for Nicholas Hoult, if you ask me, let's bring Kelsey Grammer back and do with Hank what we did in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or Hulk in Avengers. Give him the motion capture treatment. Let's please get Beast looking the way he should, and not like some Who from the live-action Breaks movie!
Tangent complete.
Hit those ugly aliens with their own mojo!
Ow! Martian and Kryptonian in the house?
Not that all aliens are automatically ugly.
I'll shoot you straight. I'm a Marvel fan. I just like its heroes better. Ergo, I didn't get too into Young Justice when it was airing in 2010 and beyond, but it was the insanely loud outcry of disgruntled fans voicing their opposition to its cancellation that got me to check it out. And, surprise, it was pretty dang awesome. The show itself was a breath of fresh air in the current animated landscape, nearly devoid of action cartoons altogether. It had a young and modern feel, but also kind of felt like those great older comic book shows of the past. But again, you don't sell toys, you don't get to keep airing, which I think we all can agree is just a terrible, terrible way of deciding to kill off a show. But it's like I always say.
Oh, is that me? We're doing a cutaway? Okay, I forgot. That is genuinely my bad. I won't miss the next one.
Static had this to say.
I just put a shock to their system, Anna. All in a day's work. If your job is being Dakota's funky fresh hero, that is.
What an ego on that guy.
So I guess Static Shock wasn't based on a comic book, since as far as I know he was created for this show. But since he's a part of the DC universe and has been adopted into the comics since then, well, there's no way I can leave this show off the list. That art just feels so classic, and I love getting to watch Virgil progress in discovering his powers, gradually becoming a full-fledged and experienced superhero. Not to mention, this show gave way to my favorite crossover event of all time. My gosh, Terry and Virgil are meeting! Static Shock also had some really strange and interesting bad guys too. My personal favorite was Ebon, and I'm still kind of obsessed with how he called Virgil Hero.
Got you where I want you, hero.
Yep, still cool. Still cool.
Static Shock!
We are undamaged.
Hello?
Mostly undamaged.
Teen Titans, or as I call it, that thing that made me realize how cool Robin actually is. Teen Titans is that kind of show that I just wish there were more of. Oh no, that's not what I meant by wish there was more of. What I mean is, Teen Titans has a way of being a true blue comedy and then turning right around and doing some cool and intense plot points. The variance of characters on the team makes for some fantastic interactions, and yes, of course, the romance. But the fighting was spectacular too, and to this day, Beast Boy's power would be my choice if I could just pick one superpower, cause it's kind of like having them all. You're invisible as a fly, you can fly as a hawk, you're super strong as a grizzly bear, you can be super fast as a cheetah. You get the point! I will say that Teen Titans doesn't have my favorite rogues gallery, but that's really okay because Slade is really all you need. Ron Perlman? Get out of here! And who can forget the ins and outs with Terra? Damn, I miss the Titans. I wish it was still airing. No! No, not like this. Not like this.
Okay, fork it over, losers.
Or this place is gonna rock.
The projector stays with us. X-Men, keep that portal open.
X-Men Evolution was awesome. Marvel even has the whole thing uploaded on their YouTube channel. It's got all the fun of the X-Men with a splash of high school drama thrown in, and it's just a really fun twist on the X-Men. But there is one aspect of it that really just steals the show: the Brotherhood. Here is a group of villains that changed the way I thought about bad guys in superhero shows, consisting of Toad, Quicksilver, the Blob, and Avalanche, with a later appearance from the Scarlet Witch and much misguidance from Magneto and Mystique. But that original core four was just so cool to see. Unlike standard villains, we didn't only see them when they were committing a crime or plotting in an evil lair. Sometimes they would just do scenes where they were hanging out and goofing off, or even involve them in romance, so you started to kind of like them too, even more than the very X-Men in my case. But by the end of it all, they do become full-fledged good guys, which is just damn cool to see. My favorite character from Evolution was Quicksilver. When it comes to live action, his scene was cool in Days of Future Past, but I'm hoping Aaron Taylor Johnson in Age of Ultron will bring something closer to the Evolution Quicksilver, a sort of quick-witted, fast-talking asshole, instead of some irreverent, weird kid.
Come with me.
Guess he decided to cut his losses.
He wouldn't. He couldn't.
He did.
What can you really say about Batman Beyond? Kevin Conroy voicing an old, grizzled Bruce Wayne who trains a new Batman using all the Wayne money but with technology advanced beyond your wildest imagination. Were the characters' torsos hilariously large? Yes. But we don't care because Terry McGinnis as Batman is awesome. His suit is awesome. His Batmobile is awesome. His girlfriend is quite annoying actually, but his bad guys are awesome. I even dressed as Spellbinder a few years back for Comic-Con. Someday I hope to dive much deeper into this show in a retuned episode, and why it really is so awesome. But for now, I'll leave you with this.
Turn on the signal light for Batman. Batman.
Are you all right? I'm fine. I'm a superhero. I'm nigh invulnerable. I'm built for this kind of thing. Nice outfit.
A superhero?
Well, how about that? An entry on the list that I actually read the comic books of. The Tick cartoon is quite silly overall and doesn't have any of the through-line plots that something like Teen Titans had. One huge reason I bring the Tick so high on this list is because largely the Tick is a fantastic parody of other superheroes and superhero shows, and it really is done to perfection. The Tick himself in the show has no real background of what he is, why he is nigh invulnerable, or where he came from. He's simply the Tick, and he lives in a world where he's kind of the only one with superpowers, which makes everything better. But that doesn't stop the people in his world from dressing up and fighting crime. Or causing it, of course. The villains in The Tick are very memorable and great, but the supporting cast is absolutely hilarious. From Sewer Urchin with his full-on Rain Man-ism,
I definitely don't think that sounds right,
to Bipolar Bear, and of course my personal favorite Tick character, Deflator Mouse, a handsome superhero wannabe with no powers who actually avoids fighting.
Oh man, don't you ever knock?
Oh man, I really do love the Tick. Oh, and that reminds me. Really? You just gonna pass out right at the desk?
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
This show is a work of art. The intro is a joy to watch. The color palette with that red sky, the storylines, the voice work. There's not much to knock when it comes to this show. Batman, the animated series, created Harley Quinn and gave birth to Mr. Freeze's origin story. Not to mention, gambled big time casting Mark Hamill, who at the time was best known for Luke Skywalker, and casting him as the most famous villain of all time. Did it pay off? Do female kangaroos have 3 vaginas? Well, yes, they do. Okay, look, everybody knows Batman has the best rogues gallery. I know I said I'm a Marvel fanboy, but come on! Everybody loves Batman villains, ha! Batman the Animated Series. It's a paragon of animated greatness and superhero greatness. If you are a younger viewer, I highly recommend getting a hold of this and checking it out, because I can genuinely say that for my money, this is the best animated superhero TV show out there, and you can bet on that. Oh no. Okay, bye.
Ha-ha! Nailed it! Now, where was I? Oh, yes! Well, you sure took your time saving me. Who'd you say you were again? I am the Toon Slinger, a mighty hero with a terribly dark past. The Toon Slinger? Okay, and what's your superpower? I hurl VHS copies of animated films at astonishing speeds, like this. Ah! Okay, let me get this straight. You hijacked my countdown, basically do the entire thing without me. You drank all of my beers, and now you're throwing a VHS copy of Charlotte's Web at me? You are a complete idiot. No need to thank me, ma'am. Now, I must be off, but I shall return. You coming, Gretel?
I thought you'd never ask.
Nice. Really nice, Gretel. Well, okay, thanks, bye.
If you enjoyed my superhero-themed countdown, you might also enjoy this video from All Time Numbers. It's jam-packed with awesome facts all about DC Comics. Holy cow, you're still here! Hey, if you want to keep up with me and all the cartoon-related content that I'm working on, you have to join me over at Facebook, facebook.com/LouToons. I'm posting tons of fun pictures and updates and content which can only be seen on the Facebook page. And don't forget to join me on Twitter @LouToons for much more frequent updates. Alright, I will see you out there in cyberspace, Toon fans.